Hello and welcome friends. Once again, online lecture series of 9th standard English. This is Mr. Gautam and today we are going to learn about the last poem of our syllabus, that is 4.5 Tansen, written by Hazrat Inayat Khan. Poem which is composed into the 23 couplets, which has a beautiful rhyming pattern and rhyming words. The poem is a fine example of poetic devices. You can see that consistent stanza pattern, steady rhyming scheme, and plenty of figures of speech in this poem. So friends, let's go and learn the poem Tansen. Tansen, the singer in a great Akbar's court, won a great renown through the Badshahi fort. The first couplet, which is introductory couplet about Tansen. This couplet introduces who was Tansen. So first line itself introduces that Tansen, the great singer, and where was he? And he was in a great Akbar's court. So he was a great singer. He used to sing in Akbar's court, and he won the great renown. That a new word here is that renown. The renown means famous. So he became famous through the Badshahi fort. Badshahi is a Urdu Roman word which refers monarchy. So here that Tansen, who was popular in Akbar's court, and he became very famous throughout his court. So this is a first couplet which introduces about Tansen. Here, if you see that the first line rhymes with the second line, that is a chord rhymes with the fourth. So if you go for the rhyming words, chord and fourth, these are the rhyming words in the first couplet. Let's see the second couplet of this. His voice rang like the sound of silver bells, and Akbar ravished heard the story tells. Now, what a great importance this man had in the court of Akbar, the second couplet tells us about him. So the quality of singing. Now, he was an extraordinary singer in Akbar's court, and as we know everybody, he was one of the 9 gems of Akbar. So by that we can come to know the greatness of that singer. So it is said about that his voice, Tansen's voice, whenever he used to sing, rang like the sound of silver bells. When Akbar ravished, here ravished means fascinated. The Akbar was greatly fond of, he was fascinated of his singing. He used to appreciate his singing, he used to love his singing, and the story tells about that. From here the story starts, how much he used to love, how much he used to appreciate, how much he used to give the great respect and honor to Tansen in his court and his singing. If you go in the second couplet, the rhyming words are there, bells and tales. So this word, first line rhymes with the second line. Okay. So you can be there. The rhyming scheme can be there. B. The first, as I told about that, the first couplet contains the rhyming scheme is that A. Second couplet contains that B. Okay. Let's turn to the figures of speech in these 2 lines. If you see here that his voice, Miss Tansen's voice, is directly compared with the sound of silver bell. The line is used to make a direct comparison between Tansen's voice and the sound of silver bell. So in this line, a figure of speech comes that similarly, because there is a direct comparison between Tansen's voice and the sound of silver bells. In the same line, his voice rang like the sound of silver bell. The sound of silver bell, which represent a sound. So figure of speech occurs in this slide. Second figure of speech, that is onomatopoeia. Third couplet of the poem is that how the king praised him, gave him many gems. No doubt he had a great honor, great respect. But along with that, King Akbar praised him, honored him with offering the valuable gems and valuable metals like gold and rest of other things. So here is talk about that, not only he was famous, not he had a great place in a Badshahi court, but along with that, how the king praised him, gave him many a gem, called him a chief jewel in his diadem. Here is a difficult meaning is that a difficult word we can call it a diadem. Diadem is crown. So let's talk about it. Not only he offered the many gems to him, not only he offered the many gifts to him, not only he offered many valuable things to him, but he called him. Means Akbar called Tansen as a chief jewel, which used to beautify the crown of king. So as he was greatly honored among that 9 gems of his court, so he talked about that he was a chief jewel in his crown. So he described like him. So by this, the place of Tansen we can come to know in the court of great Akbar. If you go for this couplet, that first line rhymes with the second line. So the rhyming words are there. Gem rhymes with the diadem. So let's go for figures of speech in these 2 lines. Here we see that called him a chief jewel in his diadem. Here is indirect comparison of Tansen with a chief jewel. Okay, it is indirect comparison of Tansen with a chief jewel. So figure of speech occurs in this slide metaphor. So this slide, the figure of speech is a metaphor. Let's turn toward the 4th couplet of this poem is that, the story starts from that. One day the singer sang the song of fire. Okay. So it was one day. Look at here. The skill of Tansen is beautifully described by Hazrat Inayat Khan. One day, Tansen sang the song of fire. So the name of the song was that Deepak Rag. What was the name of the song? The name of the song was the Deepak Rag and burning like a fire. Okay. This was extraordinary skill of Tansen. As he started to sing the song of fire, his body started to burn like fire. His body started to burn like a fire. So here that the rhyming word of this couplet is that a fire rhymes with a fire. Fire rhymes with a fire. So let's go for figures of speech in this couplet. Friends, if you read the first line of this couplet, the one day the singer sang the song of fire. So you can notice that here is a repetition of consonant sound, that is singer, sang, song. Okay. So here is a repetition of the consonant sound, that is sir. So in this line, the figure of speech occurs alliteration because there is a repetition of sir consonant sound. Singer, sang, song. Let's go for next couplet of the poem is that his body burst into consuming flame to cure his burning heart, a maiden king. Here, the effect of the Deepak Rag in the last stanza we came to know about that his whole body which consumed the high flames and it was burning like a fire. So that was a result of Deepak Rag. So which is talked about here that his body burst into a consuming flame to cure his burning heart. So his body and his heart was greatly burning into the big huge flames. So there was a need to cure him, to come out from the situation. No. So to cure his burning heart, a maiden came. Here the maiden means a young woman. Maiden means young woman. So that she came and she cured his burning heart. Let's go for the rhyming words of this couplet, that a flame rhymes with a king. So these are the rhyming words, that is a flame rhymes with K. Friends, the figure of speech which occurs in a second line to occur his burning heart, a maiden came, is inversion. Because to achieve the rhyming scheme, the poet put the sentence in a proper order. The sentence could be like that: the maiden came to cure his burning heart. But to achieve the rhymes with the maiden and came, then he put the sentence like this: to cure his burning heart, a maiden came. One day, Tansen started to sing a song of fire, that was Deepak. So his whole body started to burn into a big flame, like a fire. So there was a need to cure his condition, to cure him, to take out him from that situation. A young woman comes, a maiden came, and she started to sing a song, that is Rag Malhar. She started to sing a song that was Rag Malhar, which is known. The Malhar means what? The song of water cold. So Tansen, whose whole body was completely consumed by the huge flames. So as the maiden immediately came there and she started to sing a song of cold water, and naturally the effect of her song, that was a Rag Malhar, that still health returned and comfort as of old. She was continuously singing the song of cold water, that was Rag Malhar, until and unless he had returned to his previous condition and he felt comfortable. So she was none of other than a maiden girl was his sister only. So if you go for this rhyming words of this couplet is that the cold rhymes with the old. So these are the rhyming words. Mighty Thai teacher must be and divine. Great Akbar said, the magic indeed as of time. Here it describes about that, the singer who had this great skill, who had a great skill of singing, who had a great art, who achieved the great art of singing. So how great his teacher would be. So here is talk about that the mighty Thai, the greatness of this teacher. It described that mighty Thai teacher must be and divine. Divine here, that new words, that is heavenly. Divine is heavenly. Okay. A great Akbar said, magic indeed. Yes, it was really magical. As I previous couplet I described about that, whenever Tansen used to sing Deepak Raga, the song of fire, all the oil lamps in the court of Akbar used to lit up. So it means that this was really the magical power. And that magical power, Tansen was blessed by his teacher. So he addressed to Tansen that it is the older use of English. A Thai means that yours, Thai. Okay. A mighty Thai teacher is your teacher must be a great and heavenly person who blessed you with such a kind of the magical skill indeed as of time. And that is a great destiny of yours, that he is his teacher. Means at the present when he was talking to Tansen. So he was a greatly fortunate that he got such a kind of the divinely great and a magical teacher who gave him such a great skill of singing. Learned at his feet. Then happy Tansen bowed and said, beyond the words, ignoble crowd. Here, that Akbar praised to his teacher the greatness of Tansen's teacher. The Tansen was quite fortunate that he learned at his feet, in his shelter, in his presence, that he got an opportunity to learn and achieve such a kind of the high skill what he had there. And the credit goes to his great divinely or heavenly teacher. So learned at his feet, then happy Tansen bowed. Naturally, that there was a great respect for his teacher, and the credit naturally goes to his teacher. Because of his skill only, Tansen could become the great singer. So here, by listening praising words by the great Akbar, Tansen became very happy. The happy Tansen bowed his head and humbly accepted those things, and he thought about that and said, beyond the words, ignoble crowd. So he started to tell that where did his teacher live? So he started to tell that where did his teacher live? That beyond the words, ignoble crowd. If we turn to the figures of the speech in this previous slide, mighty thy teacher must be an divine. Here there is a repetition of m consonant sound. Scrolling its wealth, remote and far away. He dwells within a cave of Himalaya. Here is a description of Tansen's teacher where he lived. It is clearly mentioned about scrolling is residing. The new word is that scrolling is residing on his wealth. It's a wealth and remote and far away. That he lives in a distance place and very remote areas far away from that royal place. He dwells. Here dwells means lives. So Tansen described where his teacher lived, that he dwells, he lives within a cave of Himalaya. He lives where did Tansen's teacher live? The Tansen's teacher lived in a cave of one of the cave of Himalaya. He lives there. So here you can see that rhyming words of this couplet is that away rhymes with Himalaya. Away rhymes with the Himalaya. And if you turn to a figure of speech of the first line, astronomy is wealth, remote and far away. Okay, these words, remote and far away, these both words are standing for a similar meaning. So when two synonyms are used to refer one concept in the poem, that the figure of speech consider or occurs in the form of that tautology. Could I but see him once desire the king. The great Akbar expressed his wish, his desire, that if the Tansen has such a great skill, what a greatness would be of his teacher. So he expressed his desire, he expressed his wish that politely he requested to Tansen that could I but see him once. So he expressed his wish that he wanted to see and meet his great teacher. And look at here, very politely he spoke, even though he was an emperor of Mughal Empire. So sit at his feet a while. So here he expressed his wish. And what was his wish? The Badshah of Mughal Empire expressed his wish to sit on his feet, humbly, gentle way, and politely. a while. In front of him, he wanted to sit for a short period of time and listening him. He expressed his wish to meet him, to go there and to spend some time, a while, to sit in front of him and to listen him. That not an ordinary person, but the king, the Badshah of great Mughal empire expressed to Tansen. Here, the rhyming words are there. The king rhymes with the listening. So that these are the king and listening are the rhyming words in this couplet. So according to me that there is no that much, I guess that we cannot see a figures of speech in these lines. Here is celestial song I would deny, reject. My state and walk in the ropes of poverty. Okay, look at it. He accepted he was going to do everything for the sake of to meet the teacher, the great teacher of Tansen. So here, it very small wish he expressed that for some time he could go and listen to him by sitting in front of him very humbly. He requested here. He talked about that. Here is celestial song. Okay, if Tansen has such a kind of the great skill, what a greatness would be his teacher. Naturally, that the greatness of his teacher is described like the celestial song, a heavenly song, the song for the gods. Here is a celestial song I would deny. Look at it. The condition was of that Tansen's teacher never sang a song for the royal people. He used to sing a song only for the commoners. Okay, that was his condition. So that condition also the great king accepted, and he told that he would deny, he would reject my state, his state as an emperor, his state, his standard as an emperor, and he would walk. He would go to meet him in the ropes of poverty. In the ropes of poverty means he would disguise himself like the poor man, as it was the condition of Tansen's teacher that he accepted it and he was ready to give up his state, give up his all kind of the royal life, and he would go like a commoner to meet him. Any condition, he liked to listen a celestial song of Tansen's great teacher. Then said Tansen. Here, on the request of great Akbar, there was a reply by Tansen. Then said Tansen, as you desire, Huzur. As it was the great wish of great Akbar that he wanted to go and meet to his teacher, and he wished to spend some time, and as you desire, Huzur, as your wish, Huzur. Here, the Huzur is a Roman Urdu word which is used to refer for your highness. Huzur means your highness. Okay, so yes, but as your wish, your highness, then he talked about that indeed a better as a slave and poor. So as a condition was there, as his wish was there to meet his teacher who used to live in one of the cave of Himalaya, far and remote from Delhi Sultanate. Still then, Akbar accepted all the conditions. According to the condition, indeed 12. Okay, so 12 it were better as a slave. So what Akbar had to do that he had to disguise himself as a slave, very common, like a very poor slave and poor. So he could not go in royal atmosphere. If he wanted to meet his teacher, then he must go like a slave and poor. Then his teacher may sing for him. It was the condition of Tansen's teacher. To come for the lifted above the things of earth, these days to sing to earthly kings. Here, the special condition of Tansen's teacher, which is described in this couplet, is that now, as the man to come for the lifted above the things of earth. So, as he left all the earthly life, he scorned all that things. He gave up money, luxurious life, and all the material things. He gave it up. So, as he raised himself and rejected all those things what the common people loved. So it is said about that to come for the lifted above the things of earth. Disdains, a new word, disdains is dislike. He dislikes to sing a song for the earthly kings, earthly related to the earth and human life. So as he got up from his standard is of that one, so he never liked to sing a song for the earthly king and queens. So only he used to sing a song for the God and for the commoner. So to the rhyming words of this couplet is that the things rhymes with the kings. The thing rhymes with the kings. Next stanza, if you go with this couplet, a long was a road, as that it was decided a king, the great king Akbar, accepted all those conditions of Tansen, and at last the journey was set up. So it was that a long was a road. Naturally, from the Delhi to that one of the cave of Himalaya, he had to give up his elephants, horse, and all kind of the royal transportation. In place of that, he had to go as a slave and go. So naturally, it was a quite long distance, and journey was of the many days. So it was said that a long was a road, and Akbar as a slave. Look at here, the love to the art. He was a great fond of the art. So naturally, that to enjoy the art, the beauty of the art, Akbar accepted to give up his state and his royal things. So here he walked as a slave, and Akbar as a slave. He walked, began, and followed Tansen. The Tansen was there, and he followed with the Tansen, who rode toward the cave. Rode, it is a new word. Actually, this is a past participle of ride. Past participle of ride. So the Tansen ride toward the cave, as the Tansen knew that where his teacher lived. So the Tansen led to the way, and the great Akbar followed him like a slave. High in the mountains at the single's feet, the knelt and prayed with the supplication sweet. Here, at last, the journey was led by Tansen. They reached to that cave where his teacher lived. And where was that? High in the mountains. We used to live on the top of the mountain. Okay. So high in the mountain at the singer's feet. At last, that both of them reached there to meet Tansen's teacher. And both of them sat in front of the Tansen's teacher. That Tansen, according to the condition, did not introduce the great king as he was an emperor. So he was introduced as a slave, and who were there. They knelt means they bowed in front of the great teacher. They knelt and prayed. Prayed here, requested, as the main aim of their journey to go and to meet the Tansen's teacher was there, as he expressed his desire that he liked to listen the celestial sound of his teacher. If the Tansen is this much great, he wanted to know what a greatness his teacher had there. So there. Now they knelt and prayed with the supplication sweet. Here the meaning of supplication is humble request. So as they reached there, they bowed their head, they requested, they put their humble request, supplication sweet. Look at here, the great king, the emperor, he could give order, but he did not give order as it was decided that in very humble way he bowed his head to the greatness of his teacher and he requested. That is the manner of requested, humble request. Supplication, sweet means humble request they made to them. Okay. So what was the request? It is said into the next couplet. Before that, we go for the rhyming words of that sweet and sweet. That they rhyme with each others. Okay. So if you go for the next couplet, is that towards thy shrine. Shrine here, holy place. The place where his teacher used to live. That place became the shrine because of the presence of that great heavenly person. Towards thy shrine, lo, see, look. Then it is addressed to that great teacher. Now, as there was a supplication seed, very humble and sweet request they did for the great teacher. Toward thy shrine, lo, we have a journey along. They made a long journey there to reach there from Delhi to one of the cave of Himalaya. Oh, holy master, look at it. The address to the Tansen's teacher, even that the great king Akbar requested and addressed him later. So, oh, holy master, bless us with thy song. So that what was a supplication sweet, what was a very humble and sweet request they made, that as he told that they have already made a long journey and the only one purpose for that is that he should bless them. The great master should bless them with his holy song. Okay. Here the rhyming words are there, long and song. This rhymes with each others. And if you see about that, oh holy master, it is addressed to the someone. So here the figure of speech would be their apostrophe. Then Ustad, owned by their humility, sang a song of peace and high felicity. As they met in front of him, they made a sweet supplication, humble request. So he was, then the Ustad owned by their humility. Humility is the meaning of that modesty. In a very gentle way, very polite way, they spoke and put their request before that their modesty, that Ustad accepted it. The heart of the Ustad they owned, and because of that, he sang the song of peace and high felicity. Felicity, the meaning of the felicity is that great excitement. Okay. So as it was a request, then he started to sing a song of peace and high felicity. The name of the raga was there, the Malkos raga. Then Ustad started to sing a song of peace and high felicity. The name of the song was there, Malkos raga. The Malkos raga or ecstatic rank. Ecstatic means full of excitement. So the great master started to sing the song of peace and high felicity, that Malkos raga, and because of the great joy, all over in the atmosphere started to ring. So all ecstatic rang till the birds and the beasts. Look at it, the great effect of his singing. Not only the humor, but it made a great. This was the greatness of that. Why he was the teacher. Why? What a great qualities he had there. Not only the king and Tansen was completely sang into the happiness, along with him that till the birds and the beasts in that forest, that Himalaya, the birds who listened him, and all the birds and the beasts enchanted as he sang. The meaning of enchanted is lighted. So he started to sing a song that is a Malkos raga with a great joy. Was there all in atmosphere, including that Akbar and Tansen, and all the birds and the beasts with the great joy they enjoyed it. Here, the rhyming words, if you see the previous couplet, it is that humility rhymes with the felicity, and rhymes with the sang here. Next couplet, gather to hear over Akbar's dreaming soul. The dreaming soul, the meaning of dreaming soul is intellectual energy. So here, as he listened, the great Akbar listened his song. He gathered to hear over the Akbar's dreaming soul. He felt the wave of heavenly rapture roll. The meaning of rapture is feeling of joy. So the effect of the great singing, it was there. Not only the great Akbar and Tansen gathered there, but the rest of the birds and the beasts all gathered to hear the great singing of his master. And at all, as it was his great wish of Akbar, a dreaming soul, his intellectual energy, he felt very great intellectual energy in that song. He felt the wave of heavenly rapture. The great energy he felt that when he heard that a great song. And what was the song? The song was the song of peace and high felicity, that was based on the Malkus Rag. Here, if you go for the rhyming words of this couplet, it is that a soul rhymes with a road there. But as he returned to speak his words of praise, Ustad had vanished from his wandering gaze. Look at that. The surprise was the great King Akbar, Tansen, all the birds and beasts, they completely sank in the rapture world, the wave of great excitement. And when the singing was over, that the great Akbar, who completely sank into the melody and closed his eyes, the singing over, then he opened his eyes, he was going to open his eyes, as he returned to speak the words in the praise of the great teacher. The skill of his great singing, he was going to praise him about his great singing skill. The Ustad had vanished. He suddenly disappeared from his wandering gaze. It was a very surprising thing on that they could not see him where he had disappeared, where he had vanished. So he suddenly vanished from their wandering gaze. So he asked, tell me Tansen, he asked the question to Tansen, what a theme? A theme means here a musical composition. What theme this is that holds? So he wanted to know from Tansen that what kind of the musical composition that his teacher sang for them that holds the soul enchanted, delighted, that which made a soul very delighted and heart remains enveloped. The heart remains enveloped there. So now, this was a great effect of the Tansen's teachers singing on the mind and heart of great Akbar. And he wanted to know the name of that music composition. In a high delight, and then again he repeated the question, and when he knew the name, if Tansen knows the name of that musical composition, tell me again. He said, could you the same? First he wanted to know the name of that musical composition. And if he knew that, then he made a humble request whether the Tansen was able to sing the same musical composition for his master, that was the great king. So he made a request that again he said, could you the same? Could you the same means, could he able to sing? He made a polite request to him that whether he was able to sing that a great musical composition which made his soul enchanted and his heart enforced in a great delight. So it was a great request made by Akbar to his Jain Tansen. Here at the end of the conclusion is very based on that. The theme seem to learn. The meaning of learn is win over. Theme seems to win over my heart to the path untold. He said about that. the musical composition that owned my heart. Akbar tells to Tansen that the musical composition which was sung by the great teacher of Tansen that owned his heart and path untold, which made a prints on his heart. The words and the music was imprinted on his heart. Seem to lure my heart to the path untold. Then this is the last line which is replied by Tansen. The Tansen said, no to thee I sing. And he sings to God. Here is a beautiful reply by Tansen. He talked about it. He said that no, he could not sing that. Though he told the name of that was the song of peace and great felicity, that was Malchus Raga. So he said that no, he could not sing. The reason is that because to thee I sing. So that Tansen told that he sings for the earthly king. He sings for earthly king, and the great teacher sings for the God. That was the difference between the Tansen and between his teacher. So he said that Tansen sings for king, who a great king Akbar, who is earthly king, but his teacher sings for the God. That's why he is able to sing the celestial song, the heavenly song, overjoyed song, what he could not, because he already gave up all his wealth, all his things, and he rise above all these things. He never loved the physical life and material life. That is the difference. What his teacher could achieve, he could not. The difference is there because he sings for God and Tansen sings for Akbar, who is earthly king. So friends, here we have learned a beautiful poem of Tansen, his journey to his teacher, the teacher's presentation, effect of his teacher on Akbar's wish, and the difference between Tansen and his teacher. So why his teacher was greater than Tansen, that is explained in a last couplet. So friends, hope so you like and you enjoy the poem. The poem carries the consistent stanza pattern, which the first line rhymes with the second line in each couplet. So the rhyming scheme of the poem is AA, BB, CC, DD. So it continues up to WW.